Hello, gladiators, and welcome back to another episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Just wrapped up a recording with Wander. We finished up We Were Here Too. Look out for that on Saturday. And it was really good. We went back through it a little bit. And I called the ending. It was great. But called it. I guessed it 10 seconds before we saw it. But for now, we are going to head back into Sir Brante, where previously we left off. We have become patroned by Lady Melanidas. Reputation increase. And now we're back in this where, oh, hey, let me go ahead and fix that. Sorry about that if it wasn't fitted to the screen. We have started an affair with the daughter of the Archduke Melanidas. Where's Sophia? Did we just abandon Sophia when we came back to Hello? When we came back to Anasat? Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Gloria are not as fierce now. But how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning you head out on urgent business. You take one step out the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Roman Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brother Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. What have they done? The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it was best not to put him in the same cell as his lowborn brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Roman. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitresses. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from his shame. Nathan cowers into the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. It's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. Stefan, my guy. He was just trying to talk to you, Stefan. Silence. Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I've been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that even if of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. Ugh, what a shame. And it's all your fault, Nathan. Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. Roman, brother, you are our only hope. Get me my sword back and get us out of here. And fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. Oof. Okay. How do we do this? What do we do here? What do we do here? What do we do? Okay, so we can't cost the reputation that much. This one is mostly good. Augustin Alborn is going to be a little bit mad at us, but we'll still have sympathy with him. Oh. Stefan, you killed a man. We can't just gloss over that. Oh. I need to get my justice up, but there's the only bad side with that one. I guess we'll have to deal with this. You command the gendarmes to give the nobleman Stefan Brante his sword back at once. He has not broken any law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. There is no reason to keep the son of a noble family behind bars. But, Your Honor, Sir Stefan ran that man through right before our eyes. The law says, you glare furiously at the captain. That commoner, a heretic no less, dared to assault a born nobleman and grab his arm. Or does Linad claim to know the law better than Judge Brante? Remembering his position, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stefan's confiscated sword. I knew I could count on you, Roman. You aren't just my brother, after all, but also a nobleman yourself. You know that honor is always paramount. Me and you are going to need to talk, Stefan. Stefan sheathes his sword as reverently as Nathan is led out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him out the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. Okay, Stefan, my guy. You need to read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I just started reading that myself, and already, I'm like 3 pages in, and I already know. Stefan, this is the wrong way. You managed to conceal the disgraceful occurrence from all of your relatives with the exception of Sir Elborn. The prefect is very displeased with your abuse of power, but needless to say, he does not order his nephew Stefan to be returned to his cell. Back home, Stefan starts lecturing Nathan. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits. Who are those rogues you've befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remained silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Nathan, me and you are going to have a talk about something. You'll find your way, but man, we gotta have a talk for this. No, I gotta get back to being a defender of the people. Your most recent year of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Amazon. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose. But for years now, many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith in Anazad is Father Lenart, the abbot of the temple at the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he is too highly regarded by the common folk. Complaints and cases of defiance of one's lot keep pouring in. Every day somebody is reported by their neighbors for heresy. Many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the lots will usher in the prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against faith. Only the church and the Inquisition have any say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in. He takes off his helmet, adjusts his short fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Linad, reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark, the dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him to you for judgment. You, bring him in. 2 gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, dirty priest's cassock. Priests wear the sacred symbol of the twins, a cross within a circle, but this man does not. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his smack in the middle of a drinking hole. Why would they call it smack? It was a weird choice for words there. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his smack in the middle of a drinking hole for the lowborn in the Grey District. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got there right away. Father Mark, since you've heard the name ever since you were a child, His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, with nobles, commoners, and even other priests joining his flock. The Inquisition has hunted this heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture, until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Here are statements from people at the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching, he's openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design nor purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answer with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken no such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty for that. Here's why. You see, mine is the priestly lot, if the judgment of the church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition tribunal may find me guilty. So you could hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you will get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light their pyres in every corner of Anazat, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the prefecture to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Trust an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for your prefect, and better for you as well. Surprisingly, the Gendarme captain smiles knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words into your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. If he's still got the priestly lot, he's the Inquisition's problem. It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side, and Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. But suddenly, the captain's voice trails off as the door to your office opens. There is a young woman at the door, clothed in a black cassock and bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. I'm Sister Jeanne, Your Honor. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. That stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they seem somehow familiar. Of course! This is the young acolyte girl from the temple at the Silver Tree, the one you saw during that school visit. She's an Inquisitor now? Your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid. We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time. I'm sure you know priests may not be judged by secular laws, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anazat, Judge Brante. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the Church knows the way to end his heresy. You'll hand Father Mark over to me at once. Sister Jeanne remains in the doorway, and wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. The gendarmes and the captain stand still, awaiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you curiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. Let's see. Theology had to be above 10. Let's see. Imperial law exists for all estates, so you will find a way to judge Father Mark guilty in a secular court. The Inquisition ought to deal with Father Mark's heretical acts. You hand him over to Sister Jeanne. Definitely not going with this one. Why do so many of these Why does this one lower the church? I guess it just puts it more toward the old faith. Where does career stand out right now? How far away from family, relations, empire, province, occupation? So we've still got a little bit of wiggle room with career. So I think I'm going to judge him ourselves. You order the gendarmes to put Father Mark in jail. The priest just shakes his head slowly and sadly. The gendarme captain smirks slightly at Sister Jeanne and tells his men to put the priest in shackles. As you wish, Your Honor. The mere sight of Father Mark being taken away by the law sends Sister Jeanne into an apoplectic fit of rage. How dare you defy the judgment of the Inquisition? You have no right to judge a priest, not even such an erring heretic as Mark. Only other priests may pronounce judgment upon a priest. You have clearly forgotten your own lot if you see it otherwise. Know this, Sir Brante. The Inquisition will not forget this outrage. We will do whatever it takes to get you dismissed. After Jeanne finally storms out, you head for Elborn's office. Thanks to the firm guidance of the prefect and your verdicts as a judge, the rule of law in the province has been on the rise. Even nobles can be seen falling in line and acknowledging the prefecture's authority. Could this be the time to take another step forward and make the priests acknowledge the secular law just as they accept the divine? That was quite brazen of you, Brante, defying the Inquisition like that. It could cost you dearly. But I'm on your side on this matter. Father Mark will set an ideal precedent. A priest judged by imperial law rather than a church tribunal. The man you caught is an apostate and a heretic, so the Inquisition will provide no legal defense. This all but ensures a guilty verdict. Permission granted, Brante. Prepare the case. To ensure that the Inquisition has no time to intervene, you schedule the trial as soon as possible. But even with these precautions, the courtroom on the day of a trial is a strange sight to see. Outraged priests and odd-looking commoners fill the stalls. Now and again you hear their cries. Some demand you hand over Father Mark to the Inquisition, while others shout in support of the apostate. Father Mark himself is quiet and utterly calm, his arms folded across his chest. The time for the verdict has come. Instead of heresy, you accuse Father Mark of inciting rebellion against the Emperor's rule. In his sermon, Mark told people to reject the twins, but the Tempest dynasty was chosen to rule by the twins themselves. Therefore, his call to reject the twins represents an act of rebellion against the Tempest dynasty and the Empire as a whole. You thus conclude that Father Mark is an insurgent and a traitor, a crime that falls within the authority of the prefecture. Your speech has the Board of Justice backed against the wall. Despite their better judgment, they are now obligated to side with you instead of the Inquisition. Through clenched teeth, they accept your arguments for persecuting Father Mark in a secular trial. The verdict has been rendered. Well then, Your Honors, I hope your ambition has been duly satisfied, and your authority duly enforced. But alas, every single one of you is still a puppet of the alien will of the gods. It's time to hand me over to the Inquisition. After all, only the Church knows the proper punishment for me. The gendarme unceremoniously stuffs a gag in Father Mark's mouth to protect society from his heretical notions. Sister Jeanne is waiting out right outside the courtroom, an inscrutable expression on her face. She takes custody of Father Mark, now a convict, and leads him to the dungeons of the Inquisition for his long overdue punishment. Shortly after, you learn that your father was one of the judges on the Board of Justice. That was some trial, and it was led by my own son. A priest convicted by the prefecture. Our province has never seen anything like this before. Many judges are bound to hold a grudge against you for making us clash with the Inquisition. As for me, I'm proud you saw the case through to the very end. We will succeed, no matter what fate has in store for us. Ooh, we are getting close to being a master diplomat. How do we get willpower? That feels critical. I'm only 23 years old. Friend of the people, this event is a consequence of your previous actions, with justice above 5 and not having made a deal with Remy L. Vermin. Another day of work at the prefecture is winding down. After hours of paperwork, your fingers are cramped, your vision blurred. Today you must finish incorporating the new decrees of the Great Imperial Council into the Mogren Code of Law. The document will then be sent to the Overseer. A knock at the door distracts you. Your visitor is someone you are not expecting to see. Meyer Egmont enters your office. He's the wealthiest man in Magra, the owner of the silver mines and the leader of the wealthy commoners' party in the Lesser Quorum. He wears a high-priced frock coat made of light gray fabric. He wears no jewelry, but his coat is richly embroidered, the most luxury a commoner can ever afford. Egmont offers you a broad, sun-tanned hand. It is hard, work-weary, and eternally calloused. This is a man who has earned his fortune with the sweat of his brow. Good afternoon, Judge Brante. We met recently about the newspaper business, but today I need to discuss a different matter with you. I came to talk to you on behalf of the manufacturers of Magra. As you know, the principal source of income in the province is the silver mines. Our mines provide silver for the sacramental rites conducted in temples all over the empire, but the upper vein of ore is nearly exhausted. We need to process new deposits that are lower down. That's where our trouble with the law comes into play. In order to get to the deepest layers of ore, we need gunpowder, but a decree from the Great Imperial Council has forbidden common people from using it. Back in the capital, they're afraid we'll turn it into gunpowder for a weapon. But this restriction will not harm only the manufacturers and the miners, but the province as a whole. The silver trade will decline. We won't have enough money to buy grain, and even the nobility will be impoverished. I know that the judges of the prefecture, are the ones who interpret the decrees from the capital. So I implore you, Sir Brante, to come to the aid of the honest tradesmen of Magra. Pass an amendment allowing the use of gunpowder in the silver mines. You give Egmont a speculative glance and ask him why he has asked you specifically for help. I've been following your decisions for quite some time, Your Honor. They give me hope. I don't agree with you on everything, but we seem to see eye to eye on the essentials. The common estate needs to get real rights. It's the only way for our province and for the empire as a whole. Sure, Prefect Elborn has proclaimed as much himself, but unfortunately he's a nobleman of the sword first and foremost. He's bound by the blood tide, by the power of the Overseer, and the Arcanians, so all his undertakings are doomed to failure. If you, Sir Brante, truly care for the people, you need some powerful allies among the lowborn, allies like me. Do this for me, and together we'll change the fate of Magra. Egmont extends his hand, hope in his eyes. You take your time before answering, weighing his words carefully. This just seems good overall for everything. Yeah, help figure it out. Helps everybody. Seemingly. And if there's a rebellion inspired, at least I made a friend on the rebellion side. You take his hand. Egmont gives you a strong handshake. You tell him that you share his apprehension and understand that silver is crucial to the province. You promise to amend the law so that the restrictions do not apply to silver mines. Thank you, Roman Brante. Nobles who care about the needs of the common folk are few and far between. This is what nobility really means. I share your belief that only a union of the estates will lead the empire to order and prosperity. You can count on my support. Silver is the lifeblood of Magra. Today you've not only saved us all from ruin, you've also made every Mogren a little bit richer, yourself included. I'll make sure the Brontes get a share of the profits. I promise you, Brante, this gunpowder will shatter those ancient rock formations and reveal their hidden treasure to us all. We just took our town from a place of security to affluence. Lovely. And we are 1 point away from commoners seizing power. Oh, this is gonna be good. I'm excited. Moderate means brought us back into that fold. A deal with Egmont. Egmont made a deal with you. You're helping him to legitimize the use of gunpowder in the mines. But with that event... Oh, we have another. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see what happens. Your tenure as a judge has yielded considerable results. More and more often, common people come to the prefecture to assert their rights, and succeed in doing so. Some local villagers have even started coming to seek the court's protection. All over the province, there is talk that a new era has come, that the law is in fact the same for all. The morning on your way out to the prefecture, you anticipate a peaceful day full of paperwork. But as you enter your office, Elborn rushes in after you. Don't sit down, Brante. You've been assigned an urgent investigation. This morning, a tradeswoman, old Mrs. Steiner, came to the prefecture with her 2 children. She demands that we punish Sir Elverger for setting fire to her shop and trying to rob her. Well, the Steiners had just finished writing up the complaint when Elverger himself came bursting in. He immediately sued the Steiners for his own murder. I've come to warn you, Brante. Even though the Steiners were acting in self-defense, you still have to find in favor of Elverger. You're surprised to hear this from Elborn. Seeing your perplexed look, the prefect frowns. I'll explain. Before, low-born shopkeepers like the Steiners wouldn't have dreamed of suing a nobleman. Everything was always decided in favor of the nobility, as you may recall. But now the law has more power. Our efforts have not been in vain. However, now we're talking about the murder of a nobleman by commoners. I'm afraid these changes have been too drastic. The governing elite of the province are watching our every step. Justifying the murder of a nobleman would be going too far. The overseer and the magistrate might well decide that it's time to take back the common people's rights. We can't let that happen, Roman. Court is in session. You are presiding over the Board of Justice. One bench is occupied by the somber Maximilian Elverger. His papers state that he is a nobleman of the sword, living off his estate. He stroked the pommel of his sword nervously and breathes heavily, ready to explode in a fit of rage. On the other bench, you see the Steiners, the low-born owners of a well-known jewelry store. Anne Steiner, a short, wizened woman wrapped in several layers of dark silk, looks defiantly at Elverger. Her 2 grandchildren stand silently behind her, their faces impassive. My squad noticed the fire at the Steiner shop. We stormed in and saw those Steiners standing over the dead body of Sir Elverger, watching it crumble to dust. The old woman shouted that she had to go to the prefecture, so we brought her and her grandchildren here, and Sir Elverger suffered a lesser death before our very eyes. Miscreants, those low-born scum killed me. You sternly call the nobleman to order. The commoners will speak first. Sir Elverger showed up at our shop at dawn and started banging on the door. We opened, despite him being completely drunk, scarcely able to stand on his feet. He demanded to see our pearls. Well, what could I do? I showed them to him, and then he started sweeping our pearls right into his own pockets. I tell them those pearls are not free, sir, but he draws his sword. I'm a nobleman. Everything should be free for me. Such is your lot. Your lot is to work for me. Well, I explained that the pearls cost 20 coins, so he takes a lit lamp and smashes it on the floor. Then he charges at me with his sword. My grandchildren came to my rescue. They went and pushed him. They used no weapon, naturally. Sir Elverger hit his temple against a showcase and fell. We came to see how he was, but he was already dying. We didn't kill him. His own anger did. I didn't come here to confess to murder, but to ask you, Your Honor, to protect our family against this bloodsucker. We had a hard time putting the fire in the shop out after what the rascal did. You ungrateful old hag, you should have been delighted that I was taking your pearls. All of high society would have seen them. You're a blasphemer, too, not knowing your lot. The lowborn must not contradict us nobles. It's forbidden. I know my lot. I'm supposed to command. So I'm in my right when I take what I want from the rabble, and His Honor the Judge will agree with me. Your Honor, I appeal to you, one nobleman to another. It's simply an outrage for the rabble to behave like this. Those little shopkeepers took my first life from me. Me, the heir to the Elverger legacy. I demand that those Steiners be hanged at once, or burned at the stake since they followed the heresy of Fotis. Only the heretics deny their lot. There is commotion in the courtroom. Those who came to support the Steiners are infuriated by the nobleman's words. Elverger's noble friends frantically demand that the lowborn be silenced. You call the court to order, but to no avail. The room will not come down until you deliver your verdict. You rub your temple. If you manage to acquit the old lady, it will set a precedent for the entire empire. The lowborn have never had the right to defend themselves with force against one another, let alone the nobles. One moment. You have the increased influence of the prefecture on your side. You could even try to legalize the right of the common people of Magra to defend their lives. But such a daring move will not succeed without the support of powerful people. You remember Elborn's warning. What could the consequences of your decision be for the common folk of Vanazon? Should you acquit the Steiners? Can you? In all fairness, very much fairness, man was robbing them. Could be hard to tell that he was a noble. Sure, he's finely dressed, and he carried a sword, but any outlaw could do that too. An outlaw pretending to be a noble. How are they to know? I wish I could do this one. Why couldn't I have gotten patronage? Well, let's just see what this does. I want this one. I want to use this one so badly. So badly, I wish I could use this one, but we'll go ahead and pick this one. Secure our choice. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens. You rise, cutting off the racket in the room, and begin your speech. You gesture passionately, putting all your faith in the power of justice into every word you utter. You have heard both parties and are ready to deliver your verdict. However much Elverger may cling to the lots, he is not in a church. He is in a court of law, and this court's duty is to judge all the estates and decide all cases fairly. This case is of a nobleman who believes he has the right to rob and murder commoners as he sees fit. The Steiners are completely innocent. They were merely defending themselves against Elverger's assault. They are free to go. On pain of punishment, Elverger must not persecute these people further or make any attempt on their property. The courtroom is stunned by your decision. For a few moments, everyone is frozen, unable to believe that you have just acquitted the killers of a nobleman. Then the common folk burst into cheers. The guards escort the enraged Elverger out of the room by force. Flummoxed, the Steiners talk over each other in their haste to thank you. The other judges stare at you in horror. The trial is over. Well then, Brante, it's a shame you didn't follow my advice. Now the lowborn have nothing to stop them from taking up arms. There's a terrible storm brewing. We can only hope we won't be smashed against the rocks. But I think with that is where we are going to end the episode. Even if something special is happening. Okay. We're going to stop the episode there. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the episode so very much. I've had a great time playing this game. I don't know what it is about it. I love it so much. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of, the call to action YouTube stuff that everyone does. Have a good night.